Hello everybody and welcome to this video. In today's video we will talk about the Great Earl, the Great Spirit Andromalius, a spirit that I've been working with recently and have achieved incredible results. We will structure today's video by first going over all the information that I could find about the Great Earl Andromalius, so all of you out there who want to work with him have a starting point where all the information that I could find is compiled into one comprehensive video. On top of that, I will share with you my personal experience in working with him, all the things that he has done for me, and offer you also a perspective of somebody who has been actively working with Andromalius day in and day out. So let's not waste any more time and go right ahead. I want to start this video by reading out 3 excerpts of text so we can have a common ground of understanding who Andromalius is. We will start off with the Goetia. The 72nd spirit in order is named Andromalius. He is an earl, great and mighty, appearing in the form of a man holding a great serpent in his hand. His office is to bring back both a thief and the goods which be stolen, and to discover all wickedness and underhand dealing, and to punish all thieves and other wicked people, and also to discover treasures that be hid. He ruleth over 36 legions of spirits. His seal is this, the which were though as aforesaid. This is the original text out of the Ars Goetia. So let's go ahead and read from the Luciferian Goetia by Michael Ford. By the way, I recommend that you get all of these books that I mention here today because they're a great starting ground and just an important resource to have if you're into demonology or demonolatry at all whatsoever. It goes as follows. Andromalius is the 72nd spirit who is a mighty earl. He appears in the form of a man holding a large and hissing serpent in his hand. Andromalius may reveal those who have stolen from you and those who seek to be as a predator against you. This spirit may reveal trickery and those who are wicked against you. He is able to punish and harm those who have harmed you or seek to. Andromalius governs 36 legions of spirits. Now last but not least from the Demonolatry Goetia by S. Connolly, a great book that I can really recommend to you. Andromalius works well for excretion and protection. Invoke him as a ward in your home to protect against theft or harm against you by other people. Wear his lamen when going out, alone or going to dangerous places. So now that we have a little bit of a common ground when it comes to information about Andromalius, I will add all the information that I could find about him and compile it into one comprehensive data set for you. So as you have heard, Andromalius is the 72nd of the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia. He's a great earl, and he's commanding 36 legions of spirits. He's typically associated with the role of an avenger and discoverer of wickedness and underhand dealings, just as we heard. So there's a strong sense of justice and moral when working with Andromalius. As we have heard, he is said to bring back thieves and stolen goods, discover hidden treasures, reveal all wickedness, so on and so forth. Now, this may sound very particular, but please bear with me as I go ahead over the course of this video and explain to you how this can also be understood in a metaphorical sense. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's a person stealing from you, but more to that later on. Additionally, he is known to understand or help you understand and reveal the intentions of others, a perk and feature that I have felt very strongly with him. He helps you to take on other perspectives than yourself. Andromalius is said to deal with dishonesty, and there are some sources that claim that he is a watcher, so he would be associated with Azazel, another amazing spirit that I have a lot of videos about on my channel. And funnily enough, something that I throw in here from my own experience is that I feel like Azazel has actually connected me to Andromalius. In a ritual that I've performed with Azazel, there was a spirit that he called forth, I would like to say, and this spirit wrapped a giant snake around me in this astral or out-of-body experience. And funnily enough, after reading into Andromalius, I saw that all the perks that I've seen and witnessed basically fit exactly to him. So from my personal experience, which is of course subjective, and you need to go and make your own experiences, I kind of resonate with this claim that Andromalius could be associated with the Watchers. As we understood, Andromalius is often summoned for matters of justice, retribution, and protection. He's also believed to be capable of causing overwhelming grief to those who harm the summoner. Now, in demonological lore, tough word, Andromalius is typically depicted as a man holding a large serpent, a symbol which represents wisdom and the potential for vengeance. And funnily enough, this imagery of the serpent also represents a rebirth, because as the serpent sheds its skin, it is entering into a new state of being, which I find is very prevalent when working with Andromalius. Be ready for your life to be truly transformed and your former self to shed itself of all the limitations. But let me not get ahead of myself. This imagery of him holding a serpent conveys his dual role as a guardian of truth and a bringer of justice. There are some demons who are depicted in all sorts of different ways, but funnily enough, with Andromalius, this particular symbolism and imagery is the prevalent one. A man, he can be hooded. In some pictures, he's larger. In some pictures, he's giantly tall. Others see him as a female. But the symbolism of the snake seems to be omnipresent and very prevalent. And I think this imagery really conveys the two aspects that I just talked about. His strong nature of being a guardian of truth and a bringer of justice, as well as being a transformer that helps you to shed yourself of the skin of the past, so to say. Additionally, I found some interesting information here. I will try to name all the sources down below in the video description, so if you want to do some further research, please always make sure to check out the description, because I summarize all the information there and you will have everything in a written text, as well as hopefully all the sources that I used to find this information. Now, what I find this interesting is that one source claims that he's holding two healing staffs that are called the Caduceus wand. I hope I pronounced that right. And the healing power of one wand is already overwhelming. But an entity holding two just shows you the healing and transformative capacity of Andromalius, which is also from my own experience definitely and 100% confirmed. He has an overwhelming power of transforming and healing you in a way that makes it almost unbearable because of its intensity, but completely mind-blowing in regards to the effects that it has on your moment-to-moment experience. Now, we understand that Andromalius stands for justice, for truth, for also intuition, discernment, for strength, courage, for retrieving stolen goods, for punishing thieves and wicked people, for discovering unjust and wicked deals, for discovering hidden treasures, but he also displays a strong moral compass, which I think is in alignment with all the things that I just mentioned, and this is something that he instilled within me, but again, more to that later. Now, let's come to some of the offerings, planetary associations, and kind of let's call them perks of the spirit. These are researched, and these are not out of my own gnosis. So take it with a grain of salt, and feel free to do your own research and look through everything that you can find in order to add to this information, and feel free to share it in the comments down below. I would actually be happy and glad to make this video a forum where we exchange ideas about Andromalius, share our experiences, and make this as a little platform of showing gratitude also for the spirit. I will start off with the offerings, because I know a lot of you people watching this probably are wondering, what kind of offerings shall I give? Now, I don't have the answers to that. I can only guess. And what I like to go with is the color associations. And then based on the color associations, or even planetary associations, you can then design offerings. And with Andromalius, I personally feel like the color red is very prevalent. So all red offerings is something that I used and liked to give. This can be red candles, red wine, red apples, in general red fruit or candy. And I feel like candy is also always a good offering, because so many humans enjoy candy. Things that you personally enjoy, I like to bring these to the altar and kind of share my joy with the spirit. Alcohol is always a decent offering, and then you can combine that with the color association. Sincerity, dedication, of course, characteristics of showing that, hey, I come forth on a regular basis, or I give offerings on a regular basis, or I only speak of the highest of you. All of these are also offerings. Respect, dedication, sincerity. I see these as offerings that you can bring to the ritual altar as well. And then last but not least, an offering that I often talk about on this channel is, of course, the giving of blood. It also fits with the color association, and I've talked about this in the past. I think that it's a visual representation of making a sacrifice, of letting go, but you can also do the bloodletting with a combination of intention. So for example, if you wish to free yourself from something, you can prick your finger and give the blood to the spirit, but at the same time kind of enchant the blood to freeing yourself from XYZ experience or trauma or whatever. Or also use the blood as a currency and include, for example, a sentence or statement or enchanting like, I let go of this blood to find back what has been stolen from me. And this is just a completely random example that comes to mind. Now, let's talk about the dates, direction, tarot, planet, all the other perks and information that I could find. And again, take these with a grain of salt. Now, based upon S. Connolly, the dates are 11th of March to 20th of March. The direction is the south. Using this information, you could, for example, structure your altar in a way where you set up your altar facing the south. So when you're reading up on this information, you can get creative and implement this in your rituals. The tarot is said to be the 10 of cups. You could, for example, bring this tarot card or look into the meaning of this tarot card. The planet is said to be Mars. Again, there are certain associations with the planet Mars. There is the hour of the planet Mars in which you could perform the ritual to have it being more potent. See all of these things as potential things that you can add into your ritual to bring you further into a trance state and to also bring more energy with you into the ritual. More preparation equals more energy because you need more time, and time obviously is energy. The metals can be iron, copper, or silver. The element is fire. The color is red. The plant is wormwood. The incense is dragon's blood. And the zodiac, as far as I found it, is the Pisces. Another plant association that I found is wormwood and absinthe. Now let's talk about the ritual process. And I found a great resource that I've linked down below from occultist.net. A very amazing blog also if you want to read up on more information. And he lays out his ritual process very in depth there. I want to share also how I personally like to perform and approach a ritual. Now for all of you out there who want to work with Andromalius, I think the first thing that you should do is form a clear-cut intention or reason why you want to connect with the spirit. And this goes for everything that you're doing in life, but especially rituals and spirituality. What is the reason that you want to connect with Andromalius? Because this why will give you the drive to follow through and also to perform the ritual appropriately. Now, when it comes to initiation and preparation, I think these two things are important, and I've talked about this before. What you can do, except of just printing out the sigil and going right into the ritual, is maybe spending a few days, weeks, even months, however what time frame you think is appropriate. This can be just a couple of minutes, can be hours, can be whatever, right? Of researching and connecting with and to the spirit. So how does that look in praxis? You can start, for example, by researching what you're doing right now. Inform yourself about the spirit, and this way you're kind of already aligning yourself with the spirit. You're already putting in effort, you're putting forth energy, you're already giving an offering, so to say. And then additionally, you can meditate with and to the spirit. There's a bunch of amazing enchanting music for Andromalius. I will link this below in the description as well, that you can listen to whilst you meditate, right? You can print out the sigil and start meditating on the sigil. All of these things are a stage of preparation. And if maybe in the past you didn't have good results with your rituals, this could be two of the reasons. Number one could be that your intention wasn't clear, and number two was that your preparation wasn't there. It was just something that you wanted to get done quickly and get results quickly. But you have to bring patience and you have to bring preparation, because this way you are bringing forth more intention, and with more intention follows more result. So let's say you informed yourself, you prepared, you meditated. How would I personally structure the actual ritual process? And this is by no means a step-by-step tutorial. Please make more and additional research. This is just a brief overview to get you an idea. So I'd go ahead and I would form an intent, first things first. Why do you want to connect with the spirit? Right? I would do the research, and then when actually entering into the ritual, I would do a little banishing or cleansing procedure, maybe some sort of spiritual circle or protection, not against the spirit, but just to have your sacred place of communication that is uninterfered with. So of course, the sacred place should also be uninterfered with from any outside stimuli, right? You should be in a calm place where nobody can be interrupting you, nobody is entering your room. Find your peace and then meditate. Meditate on your intention. Clear your head of all thoughts. Observe the thoughts that are coming up and stop identifying with them. Step back into conscious and awareness, which is what you essentially are, You are constantly aware of thoughts, notions, perceptions. Become aware again and step into this awareness. From this place of power then, you can again focus back in on your intention, focus back in on the spirit, listen to the Enn-Chanting, and get yourself into a state of trance. In this state of trance, then, you can begin the ritual by beginning with the Enn-Chanting. You can enchant the calling phrase, let's call it like that, of Andromalius, which is Tasa Fubin Andromalius Ansa. And this you can repeat multiple times out loud, in your head, whatever works best for you. And this will add to the trance state. And then once you feel the connection with the spirit is there, either through telepathic communication, through a shift of energy inside of the room, through any notion that you can truly observe, you can go ahead and lay out your intention and, so to say, put in your bidding, propose your asking. Ask the spirit for what you seek to change, receive, reveal, whatever it may be. So now is the time, after you entered the trance state, after you meditated, after you feel a shift in energy, is the time to put forth your intent. And you put forth that intention, and you can maybe also name some things that you would like to do in return. Maybe, for example, it can be public praise, just how I'm doing it right now. It can be, for example, regular offerings, or it can be something that you want to sacrifice from your life, something that you know that isn't good for you, that is holding you back in whatever aspect your bidding may be concerned about. These are just some ideas. Or the spirit, through telepathic communication, may ask you to do certain things. So from an example of my experience, this can be something as creating a dedicated altar and coming forth every day and bringing offerings. Or this can be a video like this. It can take multiple shapes and forms of things that you can also do in return, but it is not necessary. But I do believe from my own experience that it's appreciated, and I just always like to conduct my interaction with spirits in a way that this may result from, my own conditionings, but I like to conduct interaction with spirits in a way that I give something back, or I try to give something back in whatever regard I can. Now, after you asked for what you seek to receive, you let go of the intent and you observe. Any communication that comes through, you observe. Any other maybe requests from the spirit that come through, you observe. And then at a certain point you will feel the spirit seeks to depart, or you seek to close the ritual. So then you thank the spirit for coming forth, you give them the permission to depart, and you close the ritual. You can clap your hands, you can say, so it is done and so mote it be. You of course want to thank the spirit, thank you for coming forth, thank you for blessing me with your presence, thank you for hearing my asking, thank you for gifting me your attention. All of these things may be some things that you seek to express. And again, there will never be a step-by-step exact layout that will work for you. I understand if this is the first time that you are getting into a ritual, it can be intimidating. But the funny part is that the more often you do it, the more you are able to create out of flow, which is your natural state. You are able to get creative, and you are able to speak from the heart and speak in truth, and this is everything that matters at the end of the day. If you come with sincere intent, and if you perform the ritual out of a pure heart, you will have amazing results. Now finally, let me explain my own experience with Andromalius. And to give you some context, I have of course been working with demons, spirits, energies for multiple years, almost on a day-to-day basis. That manifested and transformed my life in many ways, but I also endured and experienced a lot of traumatic experiences, just like probably all of you listening to this. And I have to tell you, over the last weeks of working with Andromalius on a day-to-day basis, my life has been transformed. And I will not gatekeep any longer my own experiences. I will just share from the heart exactly how it felt to me. It was a turbulent experience, a lot of things that have been brought up, a lot of traumas that have been suppressed, a lot of traumas, unprocessed emotion, unprocessed thoughts and feelings, things that I've been pushing down have been brought to the surface because they were the ones that were stealing from me, stealing happiness, stealing presence, stealing my present moment with burden. And this is the funny part. So often we take these ancient texts literally, but when you come to a spiritual understanding, you understand that very often you are your own biggest enemy, so to say. Your own traumas, the things that you have encountered, the things that you had to process during your life, they are very often the ones that are stealing from you, that are lingering in your mind, lingering in your thoughts, and robbing you of your attention and also of your intention of going through the day in an aligned manner. So when initially connecting with Andromalius, and I always like to connect, if I connect with spirits, I do like to connect with them on a day-to-day basis. And this is what I did. And initially, my life got very turbulent. A lot of things that I tried to suppress for a long time have been brought up. A lot of things that robbed me of my happiness. I understood myself in a completely different light. I was able to change my profession, even after years of being bound to a particular profession. And this has happened to me before when working with spirits. And the funny part is that you are very often, when initiating yourself with certain energies, signing up for transformation. And this transformation may not always be pleasant in the first place. But when you're going through this initiation, what comes out of it is transforming. It's life-altering. It's more happiness than you could ever have imagined. Because being free of all the things that you have suppressed for a longer time, being free for all the things that you knew were inside of you for a long time, that you knew were holding you back or holding you down for a long time, all these limiting beliefs, all these traumas, all these thoughts, all these emotions that weren't processed, that weren't brought to attention, they are the real thieves. They are the real thieves of happiness. They are the real thieves of you being your best creator and creation, and being able to move forward in life with abundance. And this is what Andromalius did for me. And not only this, he instilled with me a strong moral compass that I have lost over the years. And I think especially on the left-hand path, very often people approach the left-hand path from this perspective of they are God and they are creating everything and there's no consequence for their actions or whatever. And from my personal experience, this is, without trying to hit anybody in front of the head, it's just not true. There are certain laws of the universe that are omnipotent and omnipresent and that are just there for all of us. And a strong moral compass is what guides your soul through actions that are in alignment with your true being and actions that are in disalignment. And this is what I have lost in my life and what Andromalius instilled within me again. So it was not that I summoned Andromalius to punish anybody or to hurt anybody, because I am definitely not a fan of that. I don't work with spirits to hurt other people. I work with spirits in the initial stages of my spirituality, I worked with spirits to achieve wealth or worldly riches or whatever. But in these stages, and now I understand that the real wealth, the real abundance is already inside of you. There's a unique gift inside of your being that is buried behind all the trauma, the walls, the ego, everything that you've encountered, everything that you had to process. And this is what Andromalius helped me with. He broke away not only all of this past that was stuck within me, all of this past energy, but also all of these beliefs that I've laid onto my being that caused me a lot of suffering and harm. Because if you're acting out of alignment, if you're acting without a moral compass, you will suffer, period. Because what you put out is what you get back. So Andromalius really transformed my understanding once and again, and I've gone through a monumental shift. And this is also why, if you're watching until this point, if you think demons or spirits are there to hurt others, to harm others, to do wrong to others, you're at the wrong address, because you will soon find out that everything on this path has certain laws that are omnipresent for all of us, and what you put out is what you get back. And Andromalius really is the bringer of justice, the justice to yourself, the justice of being your purest, most confident, most abundant, but also most moral form. He brings justice also inside of yourself. He helps you to understand your own shortcomings, your own wrongdoings, people that you have hurt in the past. And let me add another thing. Ever since working with Andromalius, my ability to take on the perspective of other beings has been heightened to an extent that I feel empathy like never before in my life, which is a blessing. Because if you are able to feel empathy for all other beings, You will stop hurting others and therefore stop hurting yourself, and therefore your life will immediately improve. So no matter what the propaganda is out there, no matter what people are telling you, no matter what people want to believe you, this is my experience. This is exactly how I have lived this working. And the key takeaways are transforming in a deep spiritual way, not only helping me to step out of past patterns, to come into a, I don't want to call it job, but let's call it path, where I'm much more free, much more myself, and much more beneficial to the collective. But on top of that also, he has helped me to be empathic for all beings. He has helped me to forgive. He has helped me, very important, to take accountability. Very often we are programmed, and a lot of you guys I know listening out there have the same programming, that we are victims of certain situations, but you are never a victim. You are always the creator, and the moment that you start to take responsibility to and for whatever is happening to you, you can start to see your own shortcomings and wrongdoings. And how maybe in the beginning you thought other people were hurting you, other people were harming you, other people were causing you harm. But at the end of the day, if you look in the very interaction that you had with these people, you are able to see your own shortcomings and wrongdoings, and or you are able to take on their perspective and see how hurt they are in order to bring this hurt into the world. And therefore, Andromalius has enlightened me with a deep spiritual perspective on life, with a deep spiritual transformation. And I could go on and on with the things that he has changed in my life. And I personally, truly, after this path working, feel transformed. In the last weeks, 6-ish weeks of working with him, my life has changed so drastically and so much, and in every aspect, that I've not only gotten much happier, much more present, much less lost in past or thought, but also much more empathic, and just in general, overall, a more productive part of the collective. Andromalius is an incredible spirit, and I could go rambling on and on and on and on about all the good things that he has done for me, all whilst being so empathic himself, so calm himself, so giving himself. It really brings tears to my eyes talking about it. Working with these spirits is so transformative, so deeply, deeply spiritual. It is an indescribable thing to do. And this is my personal and own experience. And for you, this may look very different. For you, you may have been done wrong and you may seek retribution, or you may want to recover something that has been physically stolen from you. And I'm more than certain that Andromalius can help you with exactly that. But the true understanding that I pulled out of my working with Andromalius is not only that he is kind, that he's there for you, that he protects you, that he helps you, that he guides you and guards you, but also that he is able to make yourself face yourself and face all the things that you have put out into the universe and into the world, and take accountability and understand empathy and understand that the people that you may have called your enemies are in reality just hurt beings themselves and just didn't know better, right? And I know that sometimes this is very, very hard to understand, but this is exactly what he taught me and what he has taught me. So he is kind, he's loving, he's a great teacher, he's a protector. He will be there for you. He will help you to transform. He will help you to leave behind what is holding you back. He will help you to find out what has been stealing for you. And it doesn't need to be people. It can be these traumas, these unprocessed emotions, these thoughts, these this stuck information that you need to process. He can help you with that. He can help you to become more empathic, to understand others better. Because what is more freeing? Is it more freeing to see others as your enemies that you're opposed against? Or is it more freeing to be empathic for every single being on the planet and try to understand their perspective and try to understand that they're also only acting out of unconsciousness or conditions? And these are the tough learnings, and it's not always the easy learnings. And definitely, let me tell you, sometimes when working and initiating yourself with these energies, it can be very, very transformative. And for me, very often, certain events happen in my life, and on the short-term perspective, it may be like, whoa, what is going on? But after you are sticking through it and initiating yourself through this process, You are like the snake that is shedding its skin, entering into a new life. And I can promise you one thing. Ever after working with Andromalius, I've never felt better in my entire whole life. I never felt better. This present moment is the very moment where I feel the very best. The most conscious, the most present, the most happy, the most successful, the most empathic, the most loving. I feel better than ever before. And I give huge and great thanks to Andromalius for that. Eternal thanks for this spirit, for this being, for this energy, for this entity. And this is how I want to end this video. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, Andromalius. I set the intention for this video to connect you with the people that you seek to connect with. And that's it. If you have had any experiences with Andromalius, if you have worked with him, if you want to share your experience, please do so in the comments. I really want to invite you to share your comments below. Not out of personal gain because I want to blow this channel up. No, because I want to make this a forum to give credit to Andromalius. I want to make this a forum to give thanks to the spirit. And I will reply. If you have any questions, ask me below. I will reply to my best knowledge. If you have any experiences, leave them below. I love reading them, and so will other people as well. So let me end this video with the final words of thank you forever, Andromalius. May we hold your name in the highest regard. Thank you.